All right. So, as everybody probably understand or has seen, if you haven't, you might want to stop living in the hole in the wall or underneath a rock. And I'm not talking about the big giant man, the rock. I'm talking about a rock, a boulder, a nice boulder. You guys might notice I changed the camera setup so I'm looking more directly in the screen. It's more a little bit more natural instead of going, "What? Where'd who go?" Yeah. So there's a new show on Disney Plus called the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. Now, if you guys have been a longtime fan of the channel, like a couple people, one of them is joining me. Say hello, random person.
Hi.
That's Ms. Noodles. Y'all know Ms. Noodles. We all love Ms. Noodles. Y'all know her. So, I kind of bullied her into watching the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, so we can talk about it. And I gotta say, first and foremost, I love the way that they're going with this. I, I like the idea that's there. There are a couple of issues I had, but those are more minor nitpicks instead of grandiose things like I have with the sequels. If you guys want me to do a deep dive on what's wrong with the sequels, spoiler alert: the villain's a bitch. Okay, I can say bitch. We're past the 30-second mark. Um, yeah, I would definitely have to say that the villains seem a little bit more villainous,
In
and
the
we'll
show?
yeah, and we'll get into that. But I mean, overall, I mean, Star Wars is starting to take kind of a turn for the better. It's still suffering a continuity error. Like they're just going back and saying, "Well, this didn't make sense, so we're just doing this," even though it's long established lore, or you have legend stuff that's going into it that was considered lore, and then Disney was like, fuck that. We bought you. You don't get to you don't deserve that." So I watched the Obi-Wan Kenobi series last night, and again with my family today. And watching it a second time has definitely kind of given me a little bit more insight instead of, oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm still excited. I'm still very excited for it. And I don't know, Miss Noodles, I'm assuming you're also excited with it?
I'm actually really excited. And if anybody if you listen to the last podcast, or I'm not like, I'm not really into Star Wars as far as like, I don't really know much. Like, I'm still really new to the whole universe.
Mhm.
And it's, I don't know why. I think just because Glaze is really excited. And I know a lot of like Star Wars fans who've just been like, just waiting for this, and so I can't help but be excited about it. And I liked it a lot. I really, really, really liked it, and I think they did really, really good at it.
Good. Yeah, and everybody starts. No one starts out as a super fan, and know every single detail. I don't know every single detail. There's probably people who've been watching it since before I was born that know every single detail of everything Star Wars related. And but it's good to see some people who don't necessarily have like their foot in Star Wars coming in and watching and going, "Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I kind of like that."
It was.
I do want to get one thing out of the way. I know we're way far away from episode two. We haven't even started talking about episode one. I just gotta say, the child actor, God bless your soul, child. You did your best. But the one
Oh my
thing
god! Oh my god! You did not like Princess Leia Child?
I thought I thought she was a little bit bratty.
Oh my god!
Thought she was just,
No.
and this is coming from a very strict, not necessarily strict, but we were a very southern household. I was just sitting there looking at my mother, and I asked my mother, I was like, "How quickly would you have caught up to us instead of running after us?" And like, "Oh my God, Leia, no, Leia, no." My mom was like, "I would have hauled ass after you, and your ass would have gotten torn
Okay,
up."
okay, okay. Here's the thing. Like, again, we're not even off of episode one, but since you brought it up,
Spoilers
that
alerts, guys. By the way.
that was like one of the main things too, where like one of the only, I wouldn't even call it a complaint, but it was like one of the only things where I was just like, oh, come on, was the fact that somehow this little tiny girl with tiny tiny legs was able to get away from him multiple times. Like,
Yeah,
that was very that was silly. And it was silly to the point where, like, I was I wasn't actually angry, but if anything bad had happened because of it, I would have been angry because it's like, come on, you couldn't catch her, like, come on. So yeah, I'll give you that. But as far as her acting, in general, I don't think she was bratty at all. I think she was like sassy.
Well, no, when I'm saying bratty, I'm saying the character Princess Leia has kind of had a history of being kind of a not necessarily a snob, but more of like you kind of see her as an imperial princess. You know, it's like, aren't you a little short to be a stormtrooper? All right, you stuck up bitch, stay here and die then. Fuck you. What the fuck?
I
I'm here
mean,
to rescue you.
but see, that's where I think, and see, I don't know how Princess Leia adult is, like the
Super
known and
just
beloved character.
smarmy.
Like I know of the character because it's like such a cultural, like, Star Wars is such a like cultural phenomenon, and so of course there's certain characters that like I know of, Princess Leia with her, white and her buns, and I know
She got
like
buns, hon.
so I know of her, but I have no idea of her general attitude or anything like that because I haven't watched any of the films or anything. So like I liked it because just seeing the kid Leia in this show, I was like, I felt like, oh, like I could tell like whenever I do watch the films that I'm gonna like I know what I'm expecting,
Yeah.
because if she's this way as a child, it's
It's gonna be magnified as an adult.
yeah, and I don't think she was bratty. I think she's very intelligent.
Oh
She
yeah.
seems she seems to be very observant and very good at reading people and reading situations, which is awesome because I really like that. She was like deducing things and like very smart alecky, which I can understand is probably annoying for a lot of people. But I mean, she's also so adorable, so it's hard to be mad at her.
I
I
mean,
don't know. I really liked her a lot, and I do not like a lot of child actors, so I know I think she did great.
well, yeah, and I'm not knocking the actual child actress's performance. I think
No,
she probably
no.
did exactly what she was told to the letter. I'm sitting there thinking from a like a not necessarily a tactical standpoint, but more of a like a logical standpoint. Like, you little child, I am risking my fucking life for you, and you're gonna run away from me?
But
What do you even know what I'm doing? Like, how bad I'm risking everything for you? I am target
okay,
numero uno.
but see, okay, here, devil's advocate. Not that she is a devil, but
A little bit. All children are
so
devils.
here's say it again.
I said all children are devils in their own
Well,
rights.
I mean, so here's the thing. I feel like you have that perception because you're looking at this from like Obi-Wan, like you're
Yeah.
looking at it from his way, from his, like his history, you know what he's been through, you know what he's currently going through as he's chasing this little sassy child around. So I can understand you being almost frustrated because it's like you're in his shoes, but she doesn't know all that.
I
She
mean,
doesn't know
yeah.
his history and his, all she knows is she was just kidnapped. She wants to go home, even though she kind of ran away. But,
We'll
she's
get
a
to that
child. She's
in
10
episode
years
two.
old. So you definitely got to give her some slack with her, with her decision making skills.
I mean,
But, but she was like, like she was scared. She didn't know whether she could trust him or not. And even though her logic in suddenly being scared of him was flawed, she's a child and she got that one wrong. But she suddenly decided, oh my God, I don't think I can trust him. And that's why she ran away. Like she wasn't like, she
yeah.
just got scared.
Yeah. And before we get too far into this, I do we definitely need to go over episode one
I
first to
know, I'm
set this
sorry.
up. So if you guys have made it this far in the video and you guys are like, oh my god, spoilers, spoiler, I mean, come on, guys. Spoiler,
Yeah.
it's going to be heavy on spoilers. I can't really like,
Yeah, we're
sh-
talking about
yeah.
all our thoughts on the episode, so definitely watch the episodes first.
Yeah, like if anything, we may put something right after the thumbnail, like, "Hey, spoiler! Don't watch this until you've seen the episode." I may put something like that in the title and the description.
Yeah,
But
we probably should do that first. Sorry.
no, yeah, we probably should have. That's honestly my fault. I forgot. But let's go to episode one. So episode one of the Kenobi series, you have this whole cool ass flashback spanning the entire trilogy up into that point,
I
which is
like that.
fantastic.
Hmm.
It's just like and I actually saw I read an article where Ewan McGregor was like, it's so nice to see the fans who the prequels were made for, not the 40-year-old virgin in the basement saying, "Oh my God, you just ruined Star Wars with all the CGI and no, no, no." Yeah, shut the fuck up. You're seeing like my generation and younger who are coming up and were watching the prequels as they were coming out, going, "Oh my God, this is amazing." Yeah, the original trilogy is good, but the prequels we love. And you got the Clone Wars. The one thing I will say, after all that, you got the title scene. You had to recap the title scene, and then it goes straight into Order 66. Why, Disney? Why are you doing this?
What do you
Why?
mean?
Why are they shoving Order 66 down our throat? Do
Mm,
you want to make grown men cry?
I understand. Yeah, I mean, it's so very much connected with, why he's in the state that he's in and like what, just reminding everyone of the just tragedy and just, I don't even know what a massacre that was. So,
Genocide, if you will.
I mean, yes. So it was very, especially for someone like me who doesn't really like, I only know what I've learned from you. And it's like it's good to be able to like have a quick brush up on where he's
Yeah,
at and why he's feeling this way.
and I'm not saying that as like, oh my God, stop showing us Order 66. I'm a huge fan of like dark humor, dark topics. I love that. Like that for some reason it's just something that I enjoy talking about. I enjoy watching. Um but yeah, it's just like, damn, bro, you have Clone Wars season 7, the very end shows Order 66, makes very stonewalled men gonna cry. I almost cried during that, and I don't ever cry. You got the Bad Batch showing a different perspective of Order 66 from the clone point of view instead of from the Jedi point of view, which I really enjoyed. I really liked that. Now you got Obi-Wan Kenobi, where I mean, granted they weren't like slaughtering younglings, but they murked that Jedi Master with ease.
Mhm.
I mean, that poor bitch didn't have a. I mean, she did good. Like her KD is probably like 8 or 9 to 1, right? But it was like, damn, the futility of that. Like like it pans out, and you got the entire 501st Legion storming the fucking temple, and you're like, you're fucked. Sorry, bad.
Yeah.
You rolled the dice and you got snake eyes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And it was just really cool, like on a personal level, like because again, I wouldn't have known what was going on with that. Um, but yeah, like you've like showed me about it and told me and like so I was like I even remembered. I feel so proud, like I earned a nerd badge.
Yes.
But I was like once I saw like the stormtrooper come in and start like shoot, I was like, oh my God, this is Order 66. And then when I was like, when I had a lot of those moments, to be honest, when I was like, when you first, they started talking about like this little girl, whatever. I'm like, are they talking about? Could that be like Princess Leia? No, it can't be. And then of course, they showed her, and I was like, oh my God. So I had a lot of really like exciting moments of like, oh my God, I know what's happening, and oh my God, that's like no way. So I think I really liked. Sorry, I'm kind of jumping around, but
No, you're
I
fine.
really liked just the fact that we get to see Luke. Well, even though we haven't seen him yet, but we get to see like Luke and Leia
Actually, I
as
think you did in episode one. He's a kid. But
didn't we?
yeah, it's like a very brief scene where he's on the top of the little mud hut, if you
Oh,
will. Yeah, that's like child Luke. So I
oh
mean,
my god! I didn't even catch that.
it's not necessarily. I mean, they focus on it for like a second, but if you're looking down at your phone or something, you might miss it. There's a lot of
No.
those in this show so far. Like a couple of the references in the episode two, we'll get to that. And trust me, I caught it. I don't know how many other people caught it, but it was very on the nose. Um, and I kind of like those subtle references. And it seems like Disney, well, not Disney, because Disney's only there for a fucking paycheck, and that was very obvious with the sequels. Sorry, I'm kind of over Disney and its whole decanonizing everything and then making their own bullshit canon that makes
Yeah.
no fucking sense whatsoever.
Yeah, I would get how you and like a lot of other like fans would be annoyed by that.
And I'm definitely not one of those who are like, well, they ruined Star Wars. I think they have a couple bangers, but they have a couple turds. I mean, it's kind of like your batting average is kind of like 50-50 at this point, you know. I love Star Wars. I love that it unifies a lot of people from different backgrounds, cultures, whatever. I mean, you go to Germany and you talk to somebody, they've probably heard of Star Wars. You go to
That's
fucking
so cool.
you go to England and they're like, oh yeah, mate, that was Australian. Sorry, let's go with Australia. Oh yeah, mate, I've seen Star Wars like 3 or 4 fucking times. That was probably a horrible Australian accent. So any of you Aussies in the channel, I know you're out there. Don't hate me. I can do a British one very well, but an Australian one for some reason just escapes me. I mean, you have the Comic Cons where these guys who take hours and weeks out of their own time to make their own clone stormtrooper armors and stuff like that. And speaking of stormtroopers, I'm bouncing around a little bit. Let's just go ahead and say the two clone troopers at the very beginning had the element of surprise and missed every single fucking shot. I'm not saying it would have been cool to see it. I'm just saying you, on a tactical standpoint, you had the element of surprise. You had the first shot off, and you didn't hit anybody. What are you doing, man?
With the children.
Yeah, I'm not
Okay,
saying
yeah, that
murdering
was
kids is
pretty-
acceptable.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, obviously the Jedi, was like taking care of business, but yeah, it was definitely, yeah. They
as
messed
his
up.
commanding officer, I'd be like, yo, bro, what the fuck are you doing? We're trying to exterminate the Jedi here, and you had the element of surprise. No one had their lightsaber out. You fired 3 or 4 shots, and you missed? You need to get back on the range, homeboy. Get moving. Oh, wait, you're missing a leg. Get hobbling. It's like, so I'm not saying, yeah, I'm kind of glad that he missed because I don't think the country and Star Wars in general is ready for blasting kids. That's I think that would be a fair thing to say is taboo.
Yeah.
I mean, for God's sakes, I wasn't allowed to watch episode 3 at the point where the 501st started marching into the temple. That was all I could watch. Up until that point, that was it. Because no one, like, when it came out, it was like such a, I wouldn't say controversial thing, but it was like, oh my God, they alluded to him slaughtering kids. That's horrible. And you look back on it now, and it's like, damn, bro, we see worse on like Game of Thrones or some shit, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, wow.
Well, sorry, go ahead.
No, you ladies first.
No, finish your thought.
It's like, man, I don't know if we become desensitized to things or it's just like, all right, well, there's worse things.
I mean, we definitely become desensitized to a lot of things, but there's some things that I think will always kind of hit hard, like children and animals for some people, and certain topics.
Yeah. And speaking of animals in TV, I think Star Wars kind of really, or at least the executive who's on the show, is really kind of understanding that we're kind of getting tired of the prequel, or not the prequel, the sequel level stuff. If you love the sequels, that's fine. Everybody can love what they want, what they love. You know, I'm not saying don't. I'm saying I personally don't like it because I feel like there's no real villain. Like you have Kylo Ren, who's kind of like this moody, edgy teenager who just doesn't know what he wants to do, commits patricide, and is like, "Well, I'm down this road. I kind of have to go this road." And then he gets it, and then through this whole like sequence, he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm redeemed now. I talked to my dad. We're great." And it's like, didn't you kill your dad? That's kind of I want to put a hat on a hat here, but yeah, it would be kind of right for you to seek forgiveness for that.
Yeah.
Patricide isn't cool.
Say no to patricide, guys.
Exactly.
So I had a couple questions.
Ask
Actually, I had
away.
a lot of questions, but I had them on my phone, and it's about to die, of course. So I'm gonna have to like read it kind of quick because I don't
All
have
right.
my charger.
Well, what you can do is
Okay.
you can either put them in Discord or text them to me, and I can answer them for like just copy paste and whatever, and that way I can read them, and we can
Okay.
go for it.
Right
So
now.
yeah, if you yeah, and while you're doing that, so I mean, you know, we get past the opening scene. I just want to point out, I know I kind of am stuck on this opening scene, but can we admire how good the clones look? I mean, they look good.
What do you mean the clones? You mean the stormtroopers?
I mean, yes, technically they are now stormtroopers, but the clone, the guys with the blue paint in the Jedi Temple, the blue paint, the blue paint on the armor.
Okay.
The two dumbasses who walk in, miss every fucking shot on a room of full of surprise. Yeah, those two. That's part of they're clone troopers. They're part of the 501st Legion, and it almost looked. I can't tell if it's CGI or not, but it looks like they have actual people in suits of armor of the clones, which I've wanted to see forever. It looks amazing. So I mean, yeah, and then we cut to, if I remember right, you see that group of children, the Jedi Master's dead, and then they run off, right? Now I have a theory, and I'm pretty sure some of the other people who've covered this. I'm not doing like a full in-depth thing here because I don't remember everything. My brain be broken, guys. Okay, my brain don't work too well. The lights on, but ain't not every many people home. So we get to you see the kids, and they're like, "Oh, we're just gonna run away." Yeah, and so they do. I personally think those are the Inquisitors, which I think Obi-Wan in the second one comes out and is kind of like, yeah, they're Jedi who turn against each other. Which, if you ever saw Star Wars Rebels, you would know that's how the Jedi, like Jedi, fell. They became Inquisitors for the Empire. So let's skip to when Obi-Wan, when we first see Obi-Wan, right? Star Wars Jesus himself, as the meme goes. So I gotta say, in 10 or I don't, it's been like what 17 years or something since episode 3 came out.
Would
It
it have been 10 years? Because that's how old the children were.
no, in the show it would have been 10 years. I'm talking about like from the production,
Oh,
from like a production standpoint. I think yeah, it had been about like 17 years from when they shot episode 3 to when they're shooting this now. He looks pretty
Okay.
good. I mean,
Yeah.
he's like 40 or 50, I'd say, right about now. And he looks pretty damn good for a 40, 50-year-old. And, you know, the whole living like a rat in the desert, you know, I kind of felt that line from Rebels as I was watching him on, show up on for the first time, where he's just sitting there slicing the meat like a regular butcher. You know, he steals a little bit for his little, his faithful mount, you know. I was like, you know, I feel that.
Yeah.
So one of your first question was, how did I feel for the first time seeing Obi-Wan when they showed him?
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah.
I felt
Like,
really
there was,
go for it.
sorry, go ahead. No, just that moment, like, because I know when they, like, there's some stuff, you know, before that, and then, you know, they were, like, talking about him, looking for him and stuff. then you finally see him like you said, just out there, the whole butcher thing,
Yeah.
and he like lifts his head. And how did you feel? Because I was fucking excited, and I'm not even like in the Star Wars universe, you know? I'm like barely entering it. So
Yeah.
how did you?
So, I mean, I felt really good. When I first watched it, I watched it at like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, right? And I was really, really excited to see this because let's be real here. The reception of the prequels was not universally loved to my chagrin. So, and it looks good. He looks good. I mean, obviously he's aged because time moves on, even if in movie time it doesn't. But I mean, yeah, it's like seeing Tatooine again. I'm not. I like Tatooine. I'm not one for a desert. I don't like sand all that much. I know a Florida boy doesn't like sand all that much. Isn't that kind of ironic? Yeah, it really is. But it's like when you go to Tatooine and you see the Inquisitors for the first time. They step out on their ship, and they're talking about this Jedi. And you're like, oh shit, is that Obi-Wan? Who are we talking about here? Because we know Obi-Wan does help people out, and we're like, seems like the kind of thing. And then some poor bastard, he gets a knife thrown at him, and dude in the corner is like, nah, I don't think so. And they're like, yeah, you're the guy we're looking for. I was like, okay. Great. They're not looking for Obi-Wan. Awesome. And that poor. I mean, I understand the whole, hey, the Jedi. I kind of agree with the Inquisitors on this one. The Jedi are going to hunt themselves because the Jedi Code is like an itch, as the Grand Inquisitor said. They just can't fucking help themselves. It's like, yeah, I get that, man. That's why a lot of them died. They just couldn't say, damn, that's not my problem. Do. On to the next town. And I mean, the poor Jedi who stopped the knife from the saloon guy's face. You could have been a little sneakier about using the Force. You could have been like, raising a finger or something, not just like holding out your hand, like, stop, no, bad. Come on, buddy. Your survival instincts are not on point.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm surprised he got away at all the first time.
When they're like, oh, we gotta capture him, I was like, well, that's the end of that guy. You dumb fuck. Nice knowing you. And I was like, are you kidding me? I mean, come on, buddy. You gotta be a little bit smarter than that.
Yes.
It's yeah. I mean, I get it. If I would, let's say if Star Wars were real and I was a Jedi, I'd be like, damn, bro, I gotta help people. Or the Empire is doing this because they want to hunt, they want to find me. Unfortunately, not my monkey, not my zoo. I'm gonna have to walk on by because everybody's gonna suffer if I get caught. So, what did you think about that whole exchange with the Inquisitor and the not Obi-Wan Jedi?
I think you mean when they caught up with him in the bar kind of thing, and they basically were like trying to smoke him out by hurting an innocent person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think. Well, I definitely was, like you said, I was like, oh my god, is this? He must be in here somewhere. Like, oh, he's in here. We're about to see him. Like, he's about to pop out and like save this guy.
He's about to do some dastardly shit and fuck these guys up.
So then, when we sorry, I'm thinking of them.
Just fucking flipping around and beating the shit out of those poor noobs. It's like. Go for it, sorry.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I've been chatting this entire time, man. They're probably getting sick and tired of my voice.
Well, I was just like, I mean, they set it up that way, like expecting we were gonna, run into him right there. So, when it ended up being, we see this dark-haired young man who is like the one who's in there and stop the knife and all that. It was just like, oh, who the fuck is this? But in a very like,
Who the fuck is you, bro? You're not who we wanted to see. Get the fuck out of here.
he's not why we're all here.
Hey, die on your own time, bitch.
No. I mean, yeah, but
No, it was exactly how most people felt. Like, who the fuck is you? Get out of here. Someone get your mans.
but it was interesting because now we're like, what's up with this guy? And then yeah, again, I that what that was the other thing. Of the only two things I was like, oh come on, was one, how the hell she managed to run away from Leia later in the second one, and then two, how the hell this guy, this Jedi, managed to get away from him in that scene. Because okay, maybe I'm not giving Jedi's enough credit because like, I mean, he is a Jedi, so I guess it wouldn't be. I guess it shouldn't be shocking that he would be able to get away from them, but for some reason, and maybe just because he kind of gave me like, like a young evil, not evil, sorry, young eager go-getter kind of,
Yeah.
like amateur Jedi, where it was kind of like, like
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. It's like, this guy was like, man, I still believe in the fight. And all the older Jedi are like, bro, we fucking lost. We got our asses kicked, drug across the sand, and thrown away. Like,
kind
enough's enough.
of like D'Artagnan and like their Musketeers. He gave me
Yeah.
that. That's the vibe he gave me, where he was like, he was still full of like, eagerness and wonder and ready to fight, and he maybe just not seeing the entire scope of things,
Yeah.
how bad the situation really is.
Yeah, how tits
So-
up everything actually went.
So when he actually got away, and again, I think it maybe was because I'm not giving Jedi's enough credit, because I really don't know exactly how powerful they're supposed to be or whatever.
I mean, it kind of varied on individual to individual. Some were better than others. Some were just dumb as shit, and others were just like fantastic. I mean, it just varied, and a lot of you were almost there when you were saying, a lot of this guy seemed young, inexperienced. A lot of the Jedi that escaped were younglings and Padawans. They hadn't really like fully matured and had gone out into the world. They were like the kids in the temple who had escaped, because all the Jedi Masters were pretty much collecting dust at the entrance of the temple and around battlefields all across the galaxy. So all the senior leadership kind of got wiped out, and the young guys were like, okay, what the fuck do we do now? Okay, let's fight. When
That's kind of crazy.
it was ingeniously masterminded.
No, it was, but also like for sure, even though it was evil, but it's like, do you think that the kids, the younglings, would have been the ones wiped out? Because they're not very,
how would you raise the next generation to fight against you if there is no next generation?
Exactly. So, like, you think that the older generation would have been able to survive more than the younger generation?
Yeah.
Maybe they did. No, I guess not. I don't know, but yeah, that whole scene, I liked it. I just felt a little confused as to how he managed to get away. But
I think some of it is that the Inquisitors were toying with him. Yeah, they were playing with their food a little bit.
Yeah, I got the feeling that, like, I honestly thought my prediction at that point was, oh, they kind of want him to get away so that he can lead him to Obi.
Yeah.
Is that wrong to call him Obi?
I mean, you can call him whatever the hell you want.
Is that like proper way to say his name?
I mean, people have called him Obi-Wan, Ben, Obi. A lot of people. I mean, it's down to personal preference, really.
So yeah, I thought like, oh, they want to, they want him to lead him to him. So I honestly thought that's what was going on as far as how he managed to get away. Because I don't know why I didn't quite buy his escape.
Yeah, it was definitely not believable to me. I was like, dude, you should have. the big I, I don't know what species he is off the top of my head, but the big Asian dude, yeah, he should have just ripped your shit across the fucking bar. As soon as he stopped in front of you,
Right.
he should have just grabbed you by the throat and used you as a fucking wash towel. It's like he's playing with his food. I mean, you got the Grand Inquisitor who's like sitting there savoring the moment because he probably knows exactly who it is. I mean, they made eye contact and it's like, oh shit, I'm fucked. You know, if I move
Yeah.
now, I'm definitely giving away. Maybe he doesn't know, maybe he does, you know, cat and mouse kind of thing.
So you think like I don't know. I guess okay, so you when you said the Asian fellow, you meant like the one that had the back machine thing on his head.
Yeah, like the big ass foot massage thing on his head. I don't know what species he is. I don't know his name. But yeah, he's got the
Okay.
big like I could tell that he was like almost a really buff Asian dude. Which, fuck man,
Mm-hmm.
homeboy has eaten his protein, and
Yeah, I was.
I was like, what the? Why they got like a big ass diabetic foot massage on his fucking head?
Yeah, his. I don't know if that would be his armor or just part of his alienness, but it was just funny.
Yeah, I just thought it was hilarious. I was like, huh, talk about repurposing some things. And you know, going on into the series, I mean, you meet Obi-Wan, we get to see how he's living, and you get to see like his mental state, and it kind of drove
Mm-hmm.
it kind of. I could see how some people were like, man, what the fuck happened to Obi-Wan? Like he used to be this super badass, and now he's a little bit of a timid person. Like I kind of get where he's coming from here. You fought and strove so hard to fight and win this war, only for your all intents and purposes brother to turn around and stab you in the back. That's gonna leave a, and then you have to go kill the guy that you
Yeah,
love. That's gonna be. I mean, I can see how he has some PTSD from that, and
exactly.
being a little bit like, man, what if I can't? You know, I don't want to put myself in that position because obviously I did it once and it didn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
So
Like he, yeah.
no, you go for it.
I love the way they were showing like you said, it was essentially like very PTSD, very like he was, he's literally having nightmares of all of it, having to kill him, just the fact that in his eyes he failed him, you know,
And thinking he was the one who killed him. You know, he
yeah,
drove that finishing blow and left him to die on the lava shore. Which anybody, I mean, I can see where he's coming. Like anybody in their right mind would be just dead. Crispy Critter done, donezo.
and just all of it, like Padme and her, like the way she ended up dying, and just absolutely all of it, and then like it's just like okay this is like some regular night and he's over here having like horrible nightmares, so he's
Yeah,
probably just for 10 years straight is probably just every night having these
he's
these
almost broken by it.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
and
very much. I love the way they showed that because he played it so well.
he really
And
did.
so I like that even though it's very sad.
I mean, I kind of like that they're not going with the whole, you know, Obi-Wan's just going to be Obi-Wan the entire time. It's like, no, he went through some shit. His best friend brother turned to the evil side for all intents and purposes, and just committed genocide to everybody that Obi-Wan knew and loved and cared about. He watched his girlfriend die, and could do nothing about it. That's another thing that we're gonna get into in the episode 2, by the way. Um, so I mean, it's just the course of trauma over that, and it's just like built up, and he's like, man, I don't want anything to fucking do with it.
Yeah.
It's like when that the young strapping Jedi lad was like, I need your help. He's like, you want my fucking help? Go take that lightsaber, bury it in the desert, and never think of it again.
Wait,
Live
wait,
a
wait.
normal life.
That was my next question is about the what is it that he buried?
His lightsaber. So basically, what that kind of what I got from that is, and I agree with it 100%. So the Empire's hunting you. They're hunting you and every single Jedi that survived. So what do you have? You got to blend into the population. Are you going to do that with a fucking lightsaber on your hip? No. People are going to look at you and like, so you're a Jedi, huh? Hmm?
And he hide it. I mean,
Well, I mean that's why he buried it. You know, it's
no, I mean,
burying the
like,
past.
no, like hide it, like with his robe or something.
Well, let's say you know the Empire's doing surprise inspections and they bust down your door and they find a lightsaber and a Jedi robe and you're standing there in your fucking boxers and you're like, I can explain.
So this is like you said, essentially like a genocide. Like they're wiping out. It's like a, like, so he really was or is where we are now. Like he's terrified. Like
Oh yeah,
he's like that they're he's gonna be one of all the rest that they just come and slaughter at
yeah.
this point.
Because I mean, he escaped the initial purge, which wiped out 99% of the Jedi during Order 66, and he escaped right after he fought Vader and thought he killed him. He escaped that, so he's like, man, I have escaped death twice, three times. Oh boy, we're getting close to Snake Eyes. So I mean, and every Jedi kind of, I mean, obviously they didn't fight Vader, but the guys who escaped the purge are like, fuck, man, we got lucky. So let's just bury the smart ones buried their past and they were like, fuck this. The Jedi are dead. I'm just gonna live as a normal dude. Never tell anybody I'm a Jedi. Never bring it up. That way, if the Empire does come looking for a Jedi, it ain't me. So, I mean, I get, I mean, they just survived a genocide and now they're continuing being hunted. So I could kind of see the whole, I'm not talking about, we're not talking, we never had that discussion. We are not Jedi. There, no. I don't, Jedi?
Yeah.
Who? Me? No, sir. No, sir. So, I mean, I kind of get that. I mean, he's trying to survive. And that poor young buck was like, I need your help, man. They're hunting me. He's like, don't bring them over here, fool. I got bigger shit to do.
That was very sad. I mean, I know it was meant to be,
Yeah.
but it just was so sad seeing it was sad because this, like this kid, not kid, but this young man is like,
He's reaching out to the only guy who he knew he could trust.
exactly, and not only that, without any return for that,
Yeah.
but also
He gets killed in the end.
Yeah. Oh my god, that was.
I mean, I saw it coming when he got let go. I was like, man, they're gonna hunt him down. He's dead. He's a walking corpse at this point.
Yeah.
But I mean,
For sure.
I felt a little bit where he's like, you used to be a great Jedi. What happened? Well, let's list this off in chronological. I survived a tank blast, 1,000-foot fall. I fought my best friend and killed him, or so I think. And then now I'm hiding here, and you're coming here risking everything, including the safety of the kid of the guy who I killed, who could help bring balance back to everything, and end this shit so we can be Jedi again. And you're fucking it up.
Yeah, but he didn't know it like that. He didn't, it was still sad, but it was also just as sad to see how Obi was like,
I can't help you. There's nothing I can do.
and you can tell it's not that he didn't want to, and he even wished he could. Like you could see it in his.
He's afraid.
Yeah.
And I honestly, rightly so. I mean, everybody he knew and loved just got fucking turned into ash. Why would he think helping this guy is going to result in him living? The ultimate goal was to protect Luke. And nothing was going to get in his way to do so. I mean, yeah, he's a broken man. But at the same time, you gotta, if you're put there to watch this kid, you can't let anything else get there.
Right. Why was he put there to look after Luke?
Because it's so there's an actual explanation and then what I think. So the actual explanation is they split Luke and Leia up at their birth so Vader would never find them. So Vader would never know they had kids. And if you remember, I think it was on the last time we did like a Star Wars talk,
Mm-hmm.
my tinfoil hat thing that I was telling you about, where they buried Padme, and she still had the
Yeah.
baby bump after giving birth to even
Mm-hmm.
further like solidify, hey, Vader, your kids are dead, your entire family's dead. While in the background being like, no, they're not dead. They're growing up and they're coming to kick your ass and take and end this shit. So they sent Leia to live with Bail Organa and his family, right, on Alderaan. They sent Luke to a place where Vader would never go, Tatooine, his home planet, where he was a slave. Why would he go back there? There's no fucking reason for him to go back there. And Obi-Wan went there for the very same reason. Vader's never going to come here. Why would he come here? I can hide here. And I can watch over Luke at the same time. And when he's ready to be trained as a Jedi, I can train him and then send him to Yoda, and we'll tag team this bitch till we kill the Emperor and maybe
But
redeem Vader. Maybe.
so, but how did they decide who was gonna be the parents? Like, why did they send her
Oh,
to
uh,
where? Like, who was those people to her?
well, Obi-Wan fought. I mean, it's kind of technically an oversight, technically, when you look at it, because Obi-Wan never actually technically fought with Bail. He saved his life on a planet called Christophsis, where the Republic was under siege, and Bail had
Mm-hmm.
just completed a diplomatic mission there, and he's like, "Fuck, I'm stuck. Yo, Obi-Wan, help a brother out over here. I need help." And Obi-Wan came to his rescue, and that's how they became like really good friends after that. So, and there was a meeting because Bail found Yoda at the very tail end of Order 66. So Bail went with Yoda, drove him, like taxied his ass to the Emperor's chamber, and then picked his ass up, Ubered his ass to his ship after Yoda got his ass kicked by Palpatine. And so all three of them were on board the ship, and they were like, okay, we need to split up the kids. Bail was like, hey, I'll take Leia. We always wanted a girl anyways. This is perfect. And then
Oh,
Obi-Wan was like, okay, what are we going to do about the son? And Yoda said, well, let's send him to Tatooine with his aunt and uncle. And you'll go, Obi-Wan, you'll go with the kid, with Luke, watch over him, train him whenever need be, and make sure Vader never finds Luke. That's like the one thing they could not let happen, is the kids be found. Because if Vader found out he had
mm.
kids, he would have reason to either turn them to the dark side, or my personal belief, he'd be like, damn, that's fucked up what I did. Yeah, fuck you, Emperor. I got kids. I got to think about a family over here. Deuces, I'm ruling this bitch now.
I don't understand. You think like him? You mean he would have been good again? You think
In a
you
in
know?
a way, like kind of like a more neutral standpoint, he would have been like, okay, I'm still a Sith Lord, but I got kids, so I can't really do like the really fucked up stuff in front of my kids. So
But wouldn't that have been a good thing?
yeah, I mean, it would ultimately, well, if you remember, Luke is the ultimate reason Vader turned back to the light, because he realized, I have a son, I have a future, because
Mm.
instead of trying to kill his past so no one remembers he was Anakin Skywalker, he now has a future as Anakin. No, and his son knows nothing of what he did, knows nothing of what happened. So he wouldn't have to tell his son all the fucked up shit that he did. And been like, son, I'm sorry I haven't been here in 20 years, but I'm willing to give this a chance if you are.
Yeah.
So go for it.
Yeah, I just like, I guess they didn't want to take the chance that he would potentially just kill them so that they didn't, overtake him, I guess.
Yeah, and that's the fundamental rule of the Sith is the rule of two is there's a master and apprentice. When the apprentice finally has outgrown the master and is more powerful than the master, the apprentice kills the master and then becomes the master and then starts looking for an apprentice of his own.
Mm.
Vader in his twisted, fucked up mind, would have killed Palpatine and made Luke his apprentice. And then Luke would have killed, and thus the cycle would have continued. At least that's the way I think things would have gone. I would love, I mean, honestly, I don't think, because, I mean, in all the Star Wars that we're getting, you know, we see Vader meeting with Ahsoka again, his apprentice, Anakin's apprentice, and he tries to kill her. He sees Obi-Wan, he tries to kill him. Everything that he's trying to kill represents his past. People who knew him before Vader. He never tries to kill Luke, really. He tries to kill Luke because he represents the future, not the past.
I get that. I can It's one of those things where I feel like the more I get into it, like, the more, like, when I watch the films and, like, I'll end up, like, really loving and feeling for certain characters, it's gonna hurt even more.
Oh,
Like,
it really does. Like, watching the Clone Wars season 7, knowing that it's getting, like, if you've looked into Star Wars lore a lot and you're watching season 7, you're like, man, this is getting really close to Order 66. And then them to do it is like, bro, why are you gonna do that to me?
yeah, I feel like, yeah, I don't know. I think there's a lot of things that are gonna make me sad, but I feel like the biggest, probably two things. Well, it's probably gonna be more than two things that I'm just not aware of yet.
Yeah.
But like the whole Anakin, Vader, Padme, Obi, and Luke and Leia, like that whole thing, that whole friggin' mess is like, it's just, there's nothing good about it. Like, it's just nothing but like super tragedy.
Yeah,
Like,
it's just like a Greek tragedy.
yeah, it's horrible. Like, there's no, it's just so sad.
It
It's
is.
like there's no upside. Like, they don't have a father and they don't have a mother because of their father, and like
Yeah.
she
Dad, what happened to Mom? Funny story about that. Yeah, we're not gonna talk about that today. Yeah.
no, and then and then just like Padme's story, like that shit. From what I know about is, of course, from you, what you've showed me and told me about, and it's like that is just another. That's just so heartbreaking. Like, she was just in love and wanted to, like, have this love and this life, and then then she is just, it's just so sad. Like, she didn't even get to meet her kids or anything, and then like how Anakin and Obi are like just like brothers, and he essentially had to kill his brother, and it's just so sad. And then later, I guess, because sometimes the timeline,
It gets a little fucky.
but like later, like, they grow up, and I guess at some point they realize, that Darth Vader's their, father, or they're related, and then he's the father. I'm not sure how that happens, but then, like, to know, like, this super, super, super bad guy who everybody is, like, scared of and hates is your friggin' dad. I don't know if they ever learned about their mom, but, like...
Luke did. I believe in the comics. I never read the comics, so you guys in the comment section can school me in this. But I think he did. And it kind of goes with the decision to hide Luke with Owen and Beru. So we see them in the episode, and Owen, I just got to say, he's an asshole. Like, I fully understand why he gets barbecued. Okay, he's a dick.
The one who is, like, essentially the new dad of Luke.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is such an asshole. I don't like him. And also, he gets barbecued?
Oh, yeah. You just wait. You wait. I'm not going to spoil, like, what happens, because you'll see the movies. But, Yeah, homeboy gets what's coming to him. The and going back to the episode, you see Obi-Wan trying to extend the olive branch, and I mean, he gets Luke a fucking toy. We see him in A New Hope flying that fucking toy that Obi-Wan got him. So obviously he keeps it.
Somebody gave Luke a toy?
Yeah, Obi-Wan gave Luke a toy in the first episode. I think they show him setting it on like this canister, and it's this fully like refurbished toy. It's all cool, and then Owen in his jackassery, and like the next day walks up, throws it at Obi-Wan, and says, "We don't want your fucking shit, Ben. We want you to leave us alone. We don't want Luke to go and explore the galaxy," and delivers like one of the weirdest like asshole like burns ever. He's like, Obi-Wan was like, "Yeah, Owen, we talked about this, man. When the time comes, he has to be trained." And Owen's like you trained his dad. I was like, man, that's a fucking low blow, dude.
Yeah, that was like the epitome of low blows. Like, it probably couldn't get any lower, and unnecessary, like completely unnecessary.
I mean, Obi-Wan is struggling at this point, coming to terms that he had to do that.
Yeah.
And he's like, man, I want to try again. I don't want to fail with this kid because I loved Anakin, and I want to try. I want to make amends. I want to do better. And Owen's like, man, fuck you. You failed. You don't get a second chance. Eat my dick.
Yeah.
Get out of here. It's like, why do you be such a dick? So
yeah, that was,
go ahead.
I didn't even catch that about the toy. I didn't catch that part about the toy, but yeah, that would have pissed me off if I saw that.
Well, that was one of the few like Easter eggs that I guess it's an Easter egg that I noticed that I don't think any like my family or I know you said you didn't, but I noticed that. I was like, isn't that the toy? My dad actually said, he was like, isn't that the toy that Luke has in A New Hope? I was like, yeah. And Owen throws it out. I was like, man, fuck this guy. Come on. Obi-Wan is trying he doesn't have kids. How the fuck does he know how to be a dad? The only chance he had to have kids got stabbed by his mortal enemy and died in his arms.
You mean Obi's?
Yeah, Obi's girlfriend.
Oh.
Yeah, he likes to be a prim and proper, like, I live by the Jedi Code. Homie was getting sniz on the side. From a Duchess, none the least.
And who killed her?
Darth Maul.
Aww.
It was yeah, that arc is so just heavy because you see Obi-Wan going against the Jedi, going like, I'm gonna go rescue my girl. Like, that's my girl. She may be the Duchess of Mandalore, but she mine. I'm gonna go rescue her ass from prison because she got herself into a mess. I'm gonna go have to help her. It's okay. And then Maul was like, yeah, go ahead. You rescue her, big guy. You got this. And, Obi-Wan gets captured and Maul's like, I'm not gonna kill you, Obi-Wan. And I remember watching it, I was like, oh no. Oh, Jesus. I'm not ready for this. So Maul just kills the Duchess of Mandalore right in front of Obi-Wan, and it's like, you're a heartless bastard. And then, we go, sorry, I know we've ranted, and I've ranted a lot. And we're kind of skipping around in the episode, so we're not going to be too spoiler heavy here. I would really encourage everybody go watch it, and then in the comment section you guys can post what you guys think and we can have a discussion there. But I'm not a father, right? I'm not a dad. How hard is it to keep one little child from running off? You have an entire royal bodyguard designated to protect you. How the fuck she slipped past them? How the hell she get into the woods so damn often? Like, how is this a regular occurrence? My mama knew where I was at every second of the day, and she had two of us.
Yeah.
To keep track of.
Especially because, she's like, not only is she important because she's like this,
she's a senator's daughter.
Yes. So already she would be super important and you would imagine highly protected. But on top of it, she's way more important, like, as far as being, Anakin's child. And that's something that is, like, you would think that the security around her would, like, quadruple.
Yeah, it'd be taken seriously, not just dicking off.
But somehow, she's allowed to run off into the woods.
Yeah, that was where I was like, okay, Star Wars, really? Like, I know damn, like, my mama and my daddy were busy people, right? But they knew exactly where we was. We got lost once, and it never happened again. So I could see one time, but apparently they made it out to be like it's a regular thing that happens. Like, how the fuck you have an entire staff designated to protect this child and to make sure that she doesn't get in any trouble? How the fuck you lose her? She only 2 feet tall. Strap her ass in a car seat, ride around until she falls asleep.
Yeah, that was definitely, it was definitely odd. I mean, they're probably giving her space because of the asshole cousin of hers.
Yeah, fuck that cousin, by the way.
Yeah, he's
fuck him.
Guts.
Why do you thank your droids? It's good manners. You don't need to thank the lower life forms. Homeboy, you realize how quick I would have smacked the fuck out of you? You telling me I can't say thank you to my droid when he brought me a drink? I say thank you to my mama every damn time because it's good manners. You say thank you, please, thank you, no ma'am, yes sir, no sir. The hell? Well, my dad says, your daddy sounds like a messed up bitch.
But then we see, that was weird because then we see, so his dad isn't the same as her new dad, right?
No, the dad of the asshole cousin is the one that was talking to the tall senator, yeah, who he always has the gray cape on.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's Bail Organa. That's the dad of Leia, pseudo dad of Leia.
I liked the new dad of Leia. He was really amazing. Cool. Yeah.
Oh, he's so cool. I love his actor. He pulls off a cape surprisingly well.
He did look really good. Like, as far as characters, like, he's one of my favorite characters so far. Like obviously, but like he did like really well. Like I care a lot about his character, and I don't want anything bad to happen. Oh my god, don't tell me something bad happened.
I will say it's quick and painless.
No.
And he dies at a ripe old age.
Oh, I mean, I guess if you gotta go.
There are better ways to go, but yeah.
Oh, like what?
Like your entire planet getting blown up. It's quick and painless. All you see is a flash of light. Probably don't feel any pain, but yeah, you're now on an asteroid.
I guess, but at least, because I hope we get to see more of him, because he like, it was super well acted, and I just like I don't mean just like his characters seem like really like
very polished.
Yeah, well, that too, but also just like, I guess like that's what you would want for her, like somebody who talk to her the way he did, and like
who can relate,
clearly cares about her the way he does, and like telling her like telling Obi like, she's my
she's my daughter,
you gotta please like, he knows he can't save her, but he's gonna do his best to convince Obi, who he knows and
that's
trusts.
A damn lie, by the way. Bail Organa kicks ass. Homeboy could have done some shit. Homeboy could have.
I didn't know that.
Homeboy could have laid some whoop ass on them kidnappers.
I didn't know that. Like,
but I get it from a storytelling perspective. Like, you kind of have to shock Obi-Wan out of the kind of depression that he's in, because he is one of the best Jedi of that generation. He was the best, one of the best duelists out there. He rarely lost a duel. He was one of the best tactically sound commanders out there, and he still cared for his men. So I mean, I kind of understood the whole. We're fast forwarding a little bit to where Leia's been kidnapped, and Bail's like pleading with Obi-Wan. I get where Obi-Wan's coming from. He's like, well, I'm not the same guy I was 10 years ago. What if I can't save her? And I love Bail's line. He said, "You, my friend, you are the only one I trust with my daughter."
I love that.
I was like,
It made
damn.
me love his character like a lot.
I was like, damn, Bail, you pulling out the heavy hitter. And still Obi-Wan, I get it. He's very reluctant. I mean, the last time he tried to save someone, it didn't go well. So I kind of get where he's like, damn, fuck, I don't know if I can do this. On top of being hunted, if he uses the Force, it's like a fucking beacon of where he's at. I get that. I get the reluctance of it. And so, I mean, I get that, but I love that Bail went there and was like, look, dude, you've got to snap out of it. We need you.
So do you think we'll see, what's her dad's name again?
Bail. Like you bail out water. Bail.
Oh. Okay. I thought you meant like a Beowulf kind of thing.
Oh, no.
Bail. Okay, so do you think we'll get to see him kick ass since he apparently can?
God, I hope so.
I hope so too.
Like he may, like when I say he kicks ass, he may not be the best fighter, but homeboy has courage and grit. He can take a hit.
Yeah, I mean, now I'm excited to see that.
Definitely just watch the Clone Wars. I don't remember what season it was, but he's like it's one of the ones where they kind of allude to him and Obi-Wan like fighting together. It's like he's like in the middle of this area. He's a senator. He's technically non-combatant. You're not supposed to fight as a senator. But he's on the ground in the command center. He's like, dude, what the fuck? We need to do da 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 da. And the bombs rain. And he's like, yo, get fucking Kenobi on the phone right now. We need to get out of here. So he's taking charge. I was like, damn, you go, boy. Earn your paycheck, baby. Servant of the people.
Yeah, I like him, so I'm excited to see more of. Hopefully, there's like a decent amount more with him, and I'd like to see him fight, but I just don't want to see him die.
No, I mean you don't actually see him die. In any of the movies or anything like that, you never see actually watch him die. It's just very alluded to because you got the planet and the Death Star in orbit of said planet, and it's like, well, everybody on that planet is dead. Yeah. Well, shit.
Yeah, there was I just made while I was watching, I made kind of a bunch of notes of just things, some questions and some just just ways I felt about things, and yeah, I wanted to bring them up, but I had I don't know, 5 or 6 more, but my phone just died, so
it's up.
We're gonna
So to answer one of your other questions, you're saying who's the white bald dude?
Mm-hmm.
So he's the Grand Inquisitor. He's the head poobah of all the Inquisitors, right? So there's Vader, there's the Grand Inquisitor, and then there's the Inquisitors. So he's in control of all them little motherfuckers.
So when you say Inquisitors, that's just an alien race?
No, that's a title for Jedi who turned against the Jedi Order after Order 66. And they're used to hunt down other Jedi.
So you mean they didn't kill the kids?
No, they fought and were either captured or they were captured later on after Order 66, and instead of killing them, they were like, hey, can we join this tea party? We want to help hunt down Jedi. And they're
not good guys.
No.
No, even though they didn't kill the kids, they're not good guys.
No, they are very evil.
Oh, okay.
Very
No,
evil.
they're clearly they're
They're
clearly
bad.
evil.
They're
But I
bad
mean, like,
people.
okay, so but they're not like kind of good, kind of bad. They're
No.
they're bad. They just didn't want to kill kids, but they're still really evil.
Well, they were good during the order, during when all the kids were being slaughtered. They were good then, and some of them were captured while the killing of the kids was happening, and some escaped and were captured later on and turned to the evil side. But in the end, all of them were turned to the evil side, regardless of when they were captured.
Yeah, I don't like them. They suck. And why are they like? I guess because you get the white, like bald guy with paint, and then you got then you got like the buff Chinese guy, Asian guy with his big hat thing,
Mhm.
and then a foot massager on his head, and then you got
Riva,
the,
you got Riva.
yeah, the third sister.
Yeah, her.
I
I
can't.
actually don't like her.
Oh my god, I fucking hate her guts.
And the only reason I don't like her is I feel I agree with the Grand Inquisitor and the Asian dude with the foot massager said. She's way too fucking impulsive.
Yeah.
She needs to calm down and like hunt instead of just going for the kill. You need to hunt your prey, not fucking just run at it with a spear and go, ah! It's not gonna fucking work.
Yeah, I agree totally. Also, like two of the main things is like with her, other than I just fucking hate her because she's big jerk. Why, like, why is she so, like, what is her fucking problem with Obi-Wan? Like, why is she so gung ho about being the one to capture him?
So the Obi-Wan, there was like a hierarchy of Jedi who there was a whole list of Jedi that escaped, right? And just names were crossed off the list after they got him. Obi-Wan's was one of the ones that never crossed off the list. They were wanting to find him. They were wanting to kill him because he's one of the last Jedi masters that survived. And Yoda. I mean, they were looking for him and Yoda the entire time. Like, where the fuck are these two? They are a real threat. So Obi-Wan is more personal for Vader because he wants to be the one who kills Kenobi because that's killing his past, killing his master.
Okay.
Showing that the student has superseded the master. However, the Inquisitors are a bunch of backstabbing little bitches and they want to just climb through the ranks, So by capturing Kenobi, they're like put on this big ass pedestal. And they're like, see, look what I did. I'm so good. I captured Kenobi. Done, and look at me. Praise me. Da 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 da.
So she's just a glory whore.
Yeah, pretty much. She's a glory hound. And that's what all the Inquisitors kind of did to a certain extent. They're always trying to like outdo each other to gain ranks, so they could prove that they're better and worthy of serving the Empire. I think Star Wars Rebels goes into it a lot more. And they kind of, that's where the whole Inquisitorius kind of came about, and it was explained and fleshed out a little bit. So I would say if you guys have any questions about the Inquisitors, check out some of the YouTube channels. I think like Star Wars Theory has some good videos. Star Wars Explained. A lot of them have really good videos and are much more knowledgeable about that than I am. So yeah, it's just like they're just trying to climb ranks.
So, I was I was like, oh, I guess they had some fucking beef in the past. Cause I was just like so confused as to why she's like, it's like she made it so personal, even though I guess they've never actually met before.
Yeah. Well, I think they may have met because I mean, all Inquisitors were Jedi at one point.
Oh.
So they may have met at the Jedi Temple, and it may have been a brief meeting kind of thing.
Okay, so wait, so you're saying that the buff Asian guy and the bald white makeup guy, they're Jedis too?
They were, yeah. So the Grand Inquisitor was actually a Jedi Temple guard when Order 66 happened. So he was in the front lines protecting the temple from the clones and was captured and tortured and turned.
Okay.
I don't remember what happened. Like, I don't remember. I'm pretty sure the buff Asian guy has a name. I don't remember it, but that's better. Like, that sticks out in my head. Like, he's big. I remember he's an Asian dude with a fucking foot massager on his head. I don't know his name, so before you guys get all like, oh my god, his name is yeah, I don't remember. Okay, bite me. So
No, you like muted for a second, but you're back.
So I mean, each Jedi was like each Inquisitor was a Jedi. So and usually the higher level of a Jedi you were, the higher status as an Imperial Inquisitor you had. It's why the Grand Inquisitor he's the head poobah because he was a hefty Jedi Knight and was a Jedi Temple Guard. So he kind of got exalted above the others because he had received more training and he had turned, so he was obviously better than the rest.
So, yeah, that was one of my questions that I didn't get to ask because my phone died. A little. This was a little fast forward. What part was it?
I think we've covered all of episode 1. We're getting into episode 2.
Episode like 2 now with some of the.
Yeah.
But the last bit of the episode 2, my questions are not available. But I know like one of the things when the shady guy, we haven't quite got to him, but when she like met with him or whatever, ran into each other, and she kind of like threw him against the wall with what looked like the Force.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? Like, how does this bad guy have the Force? But you're saying it's because she was a Jedi, so she always had the Force?
Yeah, so the Inquisitors are Force sensitive, meaning they can use the Force, right? All Jedi, all Sith are Force sensitive. So they're able to manipulate the Force and use the Force.
Even if they leave, like, even if they're not Jedi anymore, like, even if they turned against it or whatever, they still can use the Force?
Well, let's look at it like this. Ahsoka Tano, she left the Jedi Order, right? Because she was blamed for a temple. The temple got bombed. She got blamed. She proved her innocence and was like, nah, peace. I'm out. Fuck y'all. And she left, and she can still use, like, the ability to use the Force is not based on whether you're with the Jedi Order or with the Sith. If you're born with that ability, that's why the Sith or the Jedi are looking for you, and they'll indoctrinate you into their thing, because you're born with this ability to use the Force.
So it's like kind of like the X-Men thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
So where some just randomly are born with it, and if you are, then they want you because of it.
Yep.
Okay.
And they'll train you how to use the Force for either the light or the dark, but mainly the light, because the Jedi at that point were, 10,000 strong. Yeah, there's like tens of thousands of them.
So then even if, like, let's say a Jedi decided to give up everything and go be a farmer, or give up everything and go be a murderer, they would always still have that ability to use the Force? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they have the ability. What we see in episode 2 is Obi-Wan kind of cuts himself off from the Force. He's like, I can't use this, otherwise I'll be discovered. So it's like he can't use the ability, so the ability to use it is starting to, deteriorate. It's getting harder for him to do it, whereas 10 years ago, he could have done it, like, he knows it like the back of his hand.
Yeah.
So
Go ahead.
So just because you leave the Jedi Order doesn't necessarily mean you're going to lose your ability to use the Force. It just means that you're no longer affiliated with the Jedi Order. So anything you do is on you.
Okay. Yeah, that was confusing, but I get it now.
Gotcha. So, I mean, episode 2 starts off, and, he's on the planet called Davu. New planet, never heard of it. Interesting. Looks like Coruscant, but it's not. So he's looking for Leia. You know, he's walking around and then he did just this fucking 15-year-old's like, hey man, you want some drugs? I got some fucking drugs for you.
That
And
was
he's like,
so weird.
yeah, I was like, what? Okay.
It made me feel like, I don't know, just a lot about it. It seemed like Earth to me. Like it kind of seemed very much
It looked like
what
Tokyo to me.
yeah, well no, the cultural, like, the visual aspects, yeah, definitely like a little
Like
town
mini
Tokyo
Tokyo.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Exactly. But I mean, like, just even that, the fact that like we would have that here on Earth, like a little section where it's just that, kind of thing, or but all of it, like there seemed to be a lot of humans there.
Yeah.
Was that just not right? Because it
Well,
seemed like it was a
it,
bunch of humans, and then you had the really similar vibe of having like little Tokyo area the way we would have here on Earth, So I don't know why, but I got the feeling like that would probably be a very like post-apocalypse type of, maybe not apocalypse, but like like Earth way in the
yeah.
future after a lot of devastating wars and stuff.
Well, and much like our own universe, humans in that one procreated like flies. So I mean, there's going to be a lot of humans versus the alien races that we see, and they added a couple new ones, like the fucking Velociraptor dude. They added that. That's a new one I've never seen. I don't think I've ever seen before, which was
Is
interesting.
that the one that Princess Leia was like walked in front of and then
No, that's the one that's shooting at Obi-Wan on top of the roof and ultimately just gets gut checked.
oh, okay.
So I mean, there will be a lot of humans, and there will be a lot of like subcultures and stuff like that, based on where the planet, like what planet they're from. You know, you got the Coruscantian humans, you got the Mandalorian humans, you got the Alderaanian humans, da, 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 but you also have the alien species that are mixed in there. That was one of my one critiques of the episode two. Is like I don't necessarily want to see new alien races because that doesn't necessarily feel, it doesn't give me like that good old warm fuzzy. Like show me some of the like established aliens. Let's see some more of Plo Koon species. I don't remember what their name is. Let's see more the
Yeah.
Twi'leks. Let's see more Twi'leks. Let's see more of them. Let's see more, not necessarily I guess more of the same stuff that we've already seen, because those are like iconic Star Wars races.
That's where you get like the like you said, the warm and fuzzy feelings
It's
as a
like
fact.
this is Star Wars, you know. And I know I saw down there you were talking about, because I think a little bit before they meet, the like right after the girl gives him the spice, the drugs, we hear, "Can you spare a veteran some change?" He's just sitting there. That's a gut wrenching scene, but I'm glad they put it in there
hmm It was
because
a very, yeah.
go for it. Sorry.
Sorry, I was just gonna say it was a very like it was really cool to like see. It was well done, and it was like it was just it stirred up so many emotions on a lot of levels, and it was just so weird to see that.
Yeah, and
And imagining like how Obi is feeling, like looking at him and knowing that could totally be him, and that might have been his buddy at one point. It's just so weird.
well, and it hits kind of double home because the if you noticed on the paint job on his armor, it was blue, right? Anakin Skywalker's Legion is blue.
Oh my
They're called the 501st. So that guy could have served with Obi-Wan and Anakin at one point in time. So that's like oh fuck. Do I know this guy? Does he know me? Am I in trouble? Do I need to kill him? What do we need to do here? Oh
wow.
fuck.
Well, see, I didn't even know that. Like they were in the same like Legion. I got that feeling though. That's exactly the feeling that they portrayed. Is like it was just so. Oh man, it was just such a like. It was a hard hitting like moment
Yeah.
there, and it was, yeah, it was cool to see, but although it was obviously very tragic in nature.
Well, one of two things. The only thing that could have been worse is if it was from Obi-Wan Kenobi's battalion, the 212th. They had orange markings. So that would have been just like an, oh, fuck, mission's over. I need to get out of here right now. And another thing, it actually showcases what happened to a lot of the clone troopers after the war. The Empire didn't give a fuck about them. They just basically told them, hey, yeah, you're retired. Good luck, buddy. Well, what about a pension? You get nothing and you'll like it. Because
that is like, that I don't want to get all, but that sounds very, very similar to what goes on, like,
in the real world.
Yeah, and it just made, like, it's just another level of, like, how that scene really, like,
Yeah,
just,
it was just like, it was just such a hard, because I mean, no one ever, I mean, it was, people read it in books, it was talked about in some of the shows, but we never got to see like a homeless clone trooper, a guy who fought from his birth to that point, fighting for the Republic and also the Empire, trying to preserve the values. And it just kind of, it was like, damn, bro. And especially because if you watch the Clone Wars, you grow really attached to the clones, because you see that they all have individual personalities. They're not just mindless, they're not just fleshy droids, they're people. And it's like seeing the Empire do that to basically the people who set up the regime is really shitty. But I also personally think that clone recognized Obi-Wan and just didn't say anything.
I think that's very, very possible. Or that Obi recognized him, or both, but I want to rewatch it. And
well, each in episode 1 of the Clone Wars, Yoda says a fantastic line that kind of sets up why people love the clones now. He says, identical you may be on the outside, this is a rough translation, you may be identical on the outside, but each one of you is individual in the Force. You have an individual identity. So each one of you, millions of clones, may look like the same dude, but you are different people.
Wow.
And then you see Order 66 from the clone side. You really start to see how tragic it is, because they loved, most of them, or at least the ones that we see, loved their Jedi commanding officers. Even though most of the Jedi commanding officers were assholes and did not really treat their men great. That's a separate rant for a separate video. And it just drives home why Anakin and Obi-Wan and Plo Koon, and not necessarily Ki-Adi-Mundi, because he's a fucking weirdo for his own reasons, were just loved by his men, except for Ki-Adi-Mundi. Ki-Adi-Mundi was not really loved by his own men, but Plo Koon, Anakin, Obi-Wan, Jedi like that were loved by their legions, because they were willing to sacrifice their life to save a lowly clone, And one of the things that the Bad Batch touched on was seeing these individual people going and being transformed into the faceless zombie-like stormtroopers that we know in the original trilogy. And that hurts, because they lose their individuality. And I don't think that clone lost that, because I think we're far enough away from Order 66. I think 10 years will be long enough where the inhibitor chip doesn't have an effect on their mind anymore. So he wouldn't be just instantly going for his gun if he saw Obi-Wan. So no, that's all good.
There was a bit of noise, so sorry about that.
Oh, you're fine. I was rambling. So
I was trying to listen to all of it, but there was like noise that y'all may have heard, and it's
no, I didn't hear anything actually.
it sounded like some sort of weird bird raptor and that just got killed or something, and I had to go check it out.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha.
But it's fine. It's fine.
Well, that's good. That everything's good.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. You don't have to apologize. To continue with the episode, we go and meet this for all intents and purposes, Jedi, air quotations, Haji or Haja, I think his name is. Yeah, I think it's Haja. Um, I like his character because it's the exact kind of thing I'd see people doing if that happened. So you're trying to make a quick buck, right? Jedi just got fucking massacred. Let's pretend to be a Jedi since there's no real Jedi around to say yay or nay. Let's help some people. Let's give some people some harmless help. They pay me. They go on their merry way, thinking they met a Jedi, and I'm 10 credits richer. I liked that. I thought it was funny.
It was definitely funny, and I like that they like. It's an interesting character and an interesting way they did it. It was like very much like a scamming kind of fortune teller kind of scammer kind of situation.
I just thought it was so funny. I was like, man, I could see people doing that,
But it made me instantly not like him because, I mean, that's fucked up. He's over here scamming poor people, and I don't know. It's just like the second I saw him, I was like, oh, he's a scammer. He's 100% scammer. He's not a Jedi. He's full of shit. And sure enough, the more he was putting, it was just giving me total fake fortune teller scammer vibes.
Yeah, and skipping ahead a lot actually. I love when he comes back and he's like, am I doing kind of a fucked up thing? Yeah. Do I like money? Yeah. But if I had known who you actually were, I would have actually helped you more. And it's kind of showing that Obi-Wan he's not alone like he thinks he is. Well, until we see episode 3, he very well maybe just to be an elaborate setup.
See, that's... Yeah, I mean, is it okay if we skip ahead to that, or do you want to wait a little bit?
No, I'm good with skipping ahead. I don't want to bore... I mean, this video is going to be probably like an hour and 40 minutes long anyways. So I don't mind skipping ahead just to save a little bit of time.
No, it's not that I...
No, I'm saying I don't mind.
It's not that I want to. I just, now that you brought that up, I really wanted to, talk about it. That's one of the things I was really wanting to see your thoughts on was what did you say his name was?
Haja, I think his name is.
Haja?
Haja. Haha. Haja.
Oh. Okay. I was just calling him Scammer Guy. And he's obviously really shady, and like you said, later on they showed him
trying to make amends.
Yeah, he leaves Obi, saying I got you, and then Obi's like,
why the fuck should I trust you?
Yeah, and he's like, you don't know, kind of thing. So that he leaves kind of in this very much I got you kind of way, and then we instantly see him
just fold.
Yeah, and then not only that, but even before she kind of put pressure on him, threw him against the thing or whatever, he was still giving very much
scammer vibes.
I'll rat him out for the right price kind of vibes.
Yeah.
So it's what do you think of him? Do you I mean, obviously it would be foolish to blindly trust him with no
with no caution.
Yeah, but do you think he's gonna end up being coming through on the good side, or?
I think
Yes.
he means well. I think he's one of those like guys who is just trying to make a quick buck. He's like a shifty salesman who his heart's in the right place, but sometimes he's just not. His methods aren't his methodology isn't like all that good.
So you think he is like when he was kind of like making it seem like he was. So do you think he was kind of like playing her, or do you think he's playing both sides and he's just in it for himself? Well, you just said you think he is has a good heart.
Well, and
Right?
the reason I say that is if you're in it just for yourself, you would have
Mm-hmm.
collected the bounty on Obi-Wan. It's like the fucking bounty hunters who kidnapped Leia. It's skipping back to when Obi-Wan confronts them. Fucking holy hell, he gets his ass kicked, and it's like I can kind of you haven't fought in 10 years. It's gonna be a little rusty trying to get on the bike again. I kind of understand that. But the allure of Obi-Wan was he never was like always the biggest motherfucker, but he could outthink you, and he did that, and I was like, oh, that's I feel that, and you know, I thought exactly how you thought about Haja when the bounty notice went up, and he's like, well, let's get to him first, and pulls out his blaster. It's like, okay, so this guy's really just in it for himself.
Mm-hmm.
I started to change my mind, however, when he catches up with Obi-Wan and he starts he's like, you know, you don't really have a choice, you have to kind of trust me. um and then what kind of sold me was I'm going to buy you as much time as possible. If you're in it for yourself and making a quick buck, you just turn in Obi-Wan and just make the quick buck. You wouldn't
Well,
necessarily try to save him because the Empire's looking for Obi-Wan. They're the ones who want him. Uh,
that's true. That's definitely true, but it could also be, and maybe that's just my, my pessimism and cynicism, but I feel like it could also be like maybe because he knows if like if he came up as a threat to try to like I don't know take him hostage or what or just kill him or whatever,
mhm.
kill he would lose. So like maybe he knows he can't beat him like one on one kind of thing, and he knows his time to kind of capture him or what gain his trust is limited.
Mhm.
So maybe he was just like leading him off, like making it seem like he's taking him to a safe haven when he's really just taking him to a place where only he knows where to get him, and like because at the moment everyone's after him, and so maybe that was just his way of gaining his trust and also isolating him to only where he knows since everyone wants him.
Yeah.
And he also like if he is two-facing him, then he's of course he's telling him like I'll buy you as much time and all that. Maybe he he really does want like he wants to see who's got the better offer for him.
Well, I mean, if that was the case, I totally see what you're saying, and I thought that a little bit too. I was like, well, why the fuck is he doing this? But the when if he was gonna rat Obi-Wan out, right? If there was a bigger chance for him to do it, right, at the opportune moment, if you will, it would have been when he confronted the third sister and been like, yo, as soon as he pressed him, as soon as she pressed him against the wall, he'd be like, yeah, Obi-Wan's that way.
What? Not if he. Well, why? Why? Because he knows that Obi's a huge bounty at this point. So, why would he like give up huge fucking bounty for nothing? So,
Well,
if this chick is all she's instead of willing to make an offer with him, all she's gonna do is throw him around, then like, why would he tell her? I don't know. I still feel like it's set up in a way where it could honestly go either way with him.
I mean,
That's why I
I
was
think
just
it's set up very like I guess ambiguous. I guess
yeah,
that's the word I'm looking for. Uh,
ambiguous.
and we don't really know. I want to believe that I think this might be one of those where Obi-Wan is learning to trust again, and not necessarily it's going to be like, well, this shady dude helped me out. So maybe people aren't as bad as I think they are. Not everybody's out to get me. I think that could be the way that they're going with it. Or it could just reinforce the idea like I need to stay on my own, and because he didn't really give up any information until the third sister made him and just took it from his mind. Like he was fully committed to keeping Obi-Wan safe and hidden until she just took it from his mind.
I'm still on the fence about him. I feel like with someone who's proven that they are in it for themselves, very much in their nature and their actions, that even if there is a cause that means a lot to him, and even if he really does want to help Obi, and help the Jedi, like someone like him who's proven they're shady and stuff, he would need to earn, like, he would need a lot more to earn that kind of trust. So, like, and not only like in Obi's shoes and in general, but like for me as a viewer, I feel like I just can't trust him yet. He needs to do a lot more than
just ride to the rescue on a white horse kind of thing.
Yeah, and again, in a way that can still very much play out that all along he was playing both sides, and truly just in it for himself. Like, it could still, I think it could still be that. And I hope not, because, like you said, he was, he definitely had, some funny moments. I do like his character. It's like interesting.
For some reason, I just find him funny.
Yeah, he is. He's definitely got like a comedic relief.
He's got a little bit of spunk to him,
Yeah, and I want to see more of him. I feel like he's definitely gonna die at probably like a sad death. And
I think maybe if we're going down that route, his death would prove to Obi-Wan that he wasn't just in it for the money, that he was there to help. And speaking of people dying for their own reasons, the Grand Inquisitor, we're going to skip a little bit ahead, and what were you going to say right before we skip ahead?
Just that, like, I could totally see like a scenario where he actually does end up by kind of going back and forth. Just, he'll be on whoever side saves his ass, or whatever side is, in his best interest at the time. And so he's never really trusted by anyone, and he's always, I could see him being that kind of character. And then at the very, maybe towards the end, or at least his end, there's a moment where he actually comes through for Obi, and like you said, that moment would prove that, even though he's shady, even though he's
a criminal,
99% in it for himself, like he's still,
he's willing to sacrifice for something bigger.
Yeah, that would be cool. But again, I actually hope he's really helping out, because I do like him. But I could totally see it going that way.
Yeah.
So you're saying about the Inquisitor?
Yeah. So we get to the docking, the cargo docking thing, and the third sister's now there. Or before that, you see Leia's stubbornness, and Obi-Wan just pause. And she was like, "Well, what?" And he was like, "Nothing. You reminded me of something, or someone." And that whole conversation, and it's just like, that was the on the nose. Like, he is referring to the Duchess Satine of Mandalore, his lover.
Really? I thought he was referring to Padme, her mom.
No, because she was a leader. She was very stubborn. While Padme was stubborn, Satine took Obi-Wan's gears and just spun them at warp speed. Like, she knew how to get on Obi-Wan's nerves like no one else, and they really did care about each other. It was
I mean, maybe it was kind of both. I don't know. I honestly thought he was, but again, like, I totally believe like I mean, if you're saying that, like you know way more about the universe and stuff, but like I just feel like I just feel like he had to have been referring to, you know, Padme, because I don't know, maybe because it just like, you know, he had just had those well, not just, but like we see him having the nightmares
Mhm.
and seeing, you know, her give, you know, being pregnant and
Well,
dying with birth and all that. And it's like, I mean, this is her child, you know, and he had been watching over Luke all these years. So this is his first time really in, not just seeing from afar, but or guiding or watching from afar, but actually interacting with her. So I feel like I really thought he was talking about Padme, but I also don't know about his lady. What's her name?
the Duchess Satine of Mandalore.
Duchess Satine of Mandalore. So
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know how that would, you know.
Well, what
I
kind of sold me, because originally when I thought the same as you did, and I was like,
mm-hmm,
okay, he's referring to Padme, but when he kind
mm-hmm,
of like looks off in the distance and you can see like that hurt, like deep seated grief, he wouldn't have
mm-hmm.
really felt that over Padme, I don't think, because I mean that would have been more Anakin's territory, you know, that's like a loss of a
No,
lover, and
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
he was like, you know, she died a very long time ago. 10 years is a long time ago, granted,
It's
but
not. It's
she
not.
died in
But
the middle of the war, I think.
yeah. You mean Order 66?
No, the Duchess. I think she died near like the middle slash closer towards the end of the war.
Mm.
But she was always, you know, she was very headstrong. Very, she led people. Padme led people. She was a queen, of course, but she was a senator for most of the time. Obi-Wan knew her, whereas the Duchess was the Duchess the entire time he knew her, and yeah, I just kind of felt like that. You know, he's even though you've never met her, kind of thing, and it very well may be Padme he's talking about. But I kind of felt that when he looked away, and he's like, she died a very long time, like that flicker of just grief,
Mm.
and I'm probably looking way too into this, but this is my life. I have no life. This is what I do.
I mean, same.
So I've kind of felt that was more of, because I mean, if you look at it, Padme Leia is not like Padme in a
What do you mean?
lot of sense. Like Padme
Oh,
was not just like, she was not very arrogant. She was, or at least from the point of view, like, yeah, she was smarmy and smartassy, but she wasn't
but
nearly the extent of a smartass like the Duchess was with Obi-Wan. Like like she and Obi-Wan would like go at it like cats and dogs. I mean, it was, and in the end, you know, like one of the last times we see her, Obi-Wan had shaved his face, and she looks at him, and she's like, and he's like, what? He's like, I don't know. And he's like, no, know about what? Spit it out, please. She's like, I don't know about the beard. It hides way too much of your handsome face. And I'm like, just leave the Jedi Order. Go get you some Duchess coochie.
I, I don't know anything about her, but I mean, she sounds cool, and yeah, I don't know. I mean, it could very well be the case, and it would definitely make sense. But like, I don't know. I guess I feel because it's, you know, it's Leia, you know, so he can't help but look at her and think of her mom, you know,
Yeah. Well, and
and
that very well may be, and he's seeing like both of them at the same time. But I kind of feel like it's more on the Duchess side because she gives me more of the stubborn, unbending vibe that the Duchess kind of gave me. Because I mean, the Duchess was a pacifist, and Mandalorians are a warlike people. So to make that planet pacifist took some iron to do, and she did it. So I could kind of see where he was like, "Yeah, you're stubborn. I know exactly who you remind me of." Whereas Padme, yeah, she was stubborn, but she was also, you could convince her of things. And Leia kind of gives me the vibes of, "No, I'm going to do it my way, and you're just going to get the fuck over it," much like the Duchess.
but also like when you say like you don't think he would be that, like that moment where he was like looked out into the distance and he was clearly like really, you know, sad about it. But I do think he probably would be, you know, that kind of have that kind of like torment and stuff, you know, thinking of Padme, because it's just the tragedy of all of it, you know, the fact that he's looking at her knowing and being reminded, like he pretty much is every night when he goes to sleep, that, you know, how it all happened. He probably is the kind of guy who, like, he doesn't just see it that he failed Anakin, but you know he failed in protecting, you know, Padme, even though that probably wasn't actually his you know duty. But he failed in, like, even just the fact that these kids don't have parents. Like he blames himself for, like, it seems like he's the kind who would blame himself for all of it, and just the way she, you know, Padme went out and all that. Like, I feel like the hurt that in that moment was just the tragedy of all of it, and knowing that, you know, like, this girl's never gonna know her, and it didn't have to be that way, and
Yeah.
God forbid she ever know her father, you know, like it just seemed like, you know, I mean, he can't tell her any of that. So all he can really say is, you know, yeah, she was a leader and all that stuff. But I don't know. I just, either way, I think it was such a sweet moment, but
It
also
really
like
was.
bittersweet.
Yeah, and one of the lines that I kind of based the opinion that it was more related to the Duchess, was there was a in the novelization of the Revenge of the Sith, Obi-Wan kind of basically comes out and says, "Hey, I knew about you and Anakin. I didn't say anything to the council because you made Anakin happy, and that's all I cared about." So
Mm.
I don't think he saw her in the light of it, and it very well may be what you're saying, but it to me it was more of along the lines of like, "Hey, you make my homie happy. That's all that matters to me. Like a good friend, but not necessarily like a romantic partner." Like I kind of got that feeling from that scene, and I may be totally wrong, and you may be right, and you can lord that over me. You beat the Star Wars nerd.
Oh my god, that would be so. I would actually hold that over
Yeah,
you
I know
forever.
you would. I know you would. And yeah, one of the other criticisms I had about the second episode, and I'm just gonna go say, on the whole, I really enjoyed the Obi-Wan
Mhm.
Kenobi series. There were some minor nitpicky things that, I mean, me as a fan of the series is, well, there's always going to be nitpicky stuff. So don't take it as like, oh my god, this isn't watchable. Don't watch this. It totally ruins it. No, it's just minor nitpicky things that I didn't like. Like there were times where I was like, man, Obi-Wan, you need to nut up. Come on, buddy. You need to start acting like the badass again. But I had to remind myself, like, well, he just
Mhm.
basically got butt fucked.
Yeah, you have to, you know, I get that. I can understand that, but
And one of the
everything he's been through, you know?
yeah, it was just like you've just been through one trauma after another, and I could see where you're just like, I'm done. I'm done. I get it. I get that. One of the things
Yeah.
that that didn't necessarily bother me, but I'm actually kind of curious about, which I may need to brush up on, was the third sister revealing that Anakin was alive. Anakin was Darth Vader. To my knowledge,
Oh, yeah.
to my knowledge, only three people knew Darth Vader was Anakin Skywalker: Emperor Palpatine, Yoda, and Obi-Wan. That was it. So how the fuck does this lowly ass
Mhm.
peon know that Anakin Skywalker is Darth Vader? I mean, some
Yeah.
stormtroopers guessed it, and only one was able to like really get it confirmed before he died, but he was a dying man anyways.
Mm.
Like, and that was a super touching story. It's in one of the comics. It was a clone pilot who had fought beside Anakin the entire Wars and into the Galactic Civil War, and they were flying on this mission to, I don't remember what planet it is, and their shuttle gets shot down, and the pilot, in an effort to save Vader, because Vader was a well-liked commander, he was a very ruthless and murderous commander for the officers, but the regular rank and file stormtroopers absolutely adored this man. Same with the clones. The clones adored, just loved Anakin. So did the most of the officers and stuff like they loved Anakin because he was very much a lead from the front guy instead of lead from behind, like most of the Imperial officers and the Republic officers. So the pilot gets like mortally wounded. He's laying outside the gunship, and he's dying. He's sitting there dying, and he's talking to Vader. He's like, I always wondered what happened to Anakin. And Vader, in a moment of just pure, I wouldn't say selflessness, but just pure compassion, said he never died. And this is not verbatim. He's like, I'm Anakin Skywalker. And the clone looked up and said, I knew it. I knew there was something familiar about you, and passed away in Vader's arms. So there were hints of Anakin in Vader. So if you were very observant, you could notice that, but you'd have to know Anakin before that. You wouldn't have to, you didn't know, if you didn't know him beforehand, you'd be like, who the fuck is this giant, like, terrifying dude?
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I like I don't know about that one. I'm like I have a lot of thoughts, but also I'm not sure how accurate any of them are because I'm still like still so new to it.
Yeah, no. And sometimes, I mean, there's thoughts that I've had when I first watched that I still believe are true. It's like I don't believe Padme died of a broken heart. I don't believe that bullshit. I mean, granted, you can die of a broken heart in real life. It's a very sucky thing to do, but I personally believe when Padme dies is when Vader takes his first breath. I personally think Sidious reached out through the Force, took Padme's, let's go with life energy if you want, transferred it to Vader so Vader would live. And that's how she died.
That's like possible?
Yeah, because Sidious promised Anakin that they would beat death. They would find a way to beat death and save Padme. However, he didn't say how he was going to do it. So when Vader was dying on the operating table, for all intents and purposes, Palpatine was like, all right, well, we got to save Vader. That's a must. So I guess he kind of like reached out through the Force, took Padme's life, and gave it to Vader.
But like, that is so fucked up.
It is. You got to read the theory on it because I am not doing it justice.
Read the what?
The theory on it.
That is like no. I think you're doing it justice. It's just so like
so fucking messed up.
Yeah, I don't even have words for the level of like just wrong that would be.
Yeah.
It's
just yeah, and Sidious never said how he was going to do it or if it was going to be effective, but we know that Sidious's master Darth Plagueis beat death. He could create life, therefore he could also take life. If you can create it, you can take it in a messed up sense of the word, or sense of the alchemy, if you will. So I think Sidious already knew. He just needed to give Anakin that extra, just like little bitty nudge over to the dark side to fully encompass him. So I think that was like the straw that broke the camel's back.
That I've never seen the films, and I feel like Padme's story, her whole story is just gonna it's kind of gonna just crush my heart.
It's really really sweet until the end. Until the end.
I mean,
you gotta look at it like this: the kid that looked at this beautiful woman, chased her and chased her, finally able to marry her. Let's forget about the in section. That's not relevant at this moment. But I mean, he was able to get the girl of his dreams, and she loved him and adored him to the point where it was almost distracting.
But yeah, but look what it got her, you know?
I mean,
it was nothing but I don't know. I could probably rant about.
Oh yeah,
about especially if I actually knew her whole like story and their whole like, courtship and stuff. But I'm not gonna lie. Part of me doesn't want to know because I know it's gonna fuck me up, and like even just the little bit that I do know already kind of fucks me up. Like it's so sad.
Yeah.
And it's just not fair. It's not fair. Like now, even now, like where we're at in Obi-Wan, you know, why does it seem like the dark side's always winning?
It's because the dark side, like the time period we're at right now, the dark side has won. For all intents and purposes, the light and the dark were struggling, and the dark overcame the light. And so the force is all out of balance because the force should work in harmony. The light and the dark should be in perfect harmony. That's why the original Jedi, the Jedi, with 2 eyes instead of 1, were practitioners of both sides of the force. They were balanced, not one side or the other. Because if you go too far to the light, you're overbalanced in one way. You go too far to the dark, you're overbalanced. It was just a perfect harmony, and that's where the modern Jedi and the modern Sith kind of like got that confused. That's why the gray Jedi like Qui-Gon Jinn, Ahsoka, were way better at being Jedi because they had one foothold in the light and one in the dark. So they were able to get both points of view.
Where did you learn about the Jedi?
They are just like I said, Star Wars Explained, Star Wars Theory. A lot of those bigger channels have great videos explaining it, and they're primarily where I learn a lot of the stuff I know right now.
Are they like okay, are they in the films or
no?
Is that like canon stuff in the films?
A lot of it is expanded universe, now considered expanded universe. Some of it is. The tricky part is figuring out. For me, I take it everything as canon, you know, just because it makes it so much easier in my head. So.
Yeah, I've never heard of that at all, so it's really interesting.
And going back to the episode, I think it was I always figured Obi-Wan didn't know that Vader was alive. I thought, and I always kind of figured that when he turned his back on Anakin on the shores, the lava shores, he figured homeboy is burnt to a crisp. He's gonna die. There's no saving him. So honestly, it would have been a better mercy just to push him in the lava and just get it over with.
Yeah, or just slice him with his lightsaber.
Yeah, just end up just getting it done, you know, instead of leaving him to suffer. But I could see how he'd be like, yeah, he's dead. There's no way he's alive. And then, you know, the third sister coming back and saying, no, Anakin Skywalker is alive. He's Lord Vader. You know this. It was kind of like the wake-up call Obi-Wan needed to kind of shock himself out of the whole, oh my god, I failed, da-da-da-da-da. Now, Vader's still alive. Anakin's still technically alive. So he hasn't failed completely. And I like how they ended the second episode where Obi-Wan says Anakin, and then it switches over to Vader immediately. I loved that.
Yeah, it was really, really, it was a really awesome part. There were a lot of little parts, like just with the way they did the filming that was like just so cool, cool. And that was one of them. Like it definitely left me feeling like, oh shit.
Yeah, like shit's about to go. I mean, if this is what we're starting out with, the fucking first season is gonna be nuts. I mean,
Mhm.
you got the Grand Inquisitors getting sliced up by. First of all, how do you think, Riva? How do you think that's fucking gonna? How are you gonna explain that, huh? You got the Grand Inquisitor dead at your feet, and when his goons run up there, the fucking
The
foot
buff guy.
massage, yeah, foot massage guy, and the fucking tentacle penis head lady. Yeah, when they roll up, they ain't gonna be too happy with you. So you think you're gonna just like assume command? No, they're probably gonna kill you.
I
Obi-Wan
mean,
did it. Really?
they're
Hmm.
gonna try, but my guess is they're gonna try and fail, and they're either gonna end up by having to fall in line as her as the leader, and they'll be her little lackeys now,
I personally
or
think Vader's gonna have to step in, and he's gonna be like, "You have grown. Your head is way too big for your station. Cut it out or die."
I have no idea, but that would definitely be some shit to see.
Because I mean, you can't have someone trying to think they're better than Vader, the right hand man of the Emperor. You can't. I mean, you getting a little too big for your britches there.
Yeah,
Only I can kill the Inquisitors as Vader and get away with it.
oh, I saw that coming. By the way, did
Oh
you?
yeah, yeah. They telegraphed that shit. Like as soon as he's like step aside, I was like, "Well, buddy, you're dead."
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Yeah, great.
Yeah,
Real
for
smart on you.
yeah, and I was honestly like, dude, you can't be this like.
You can't be this dumb.
Mhm.
Like if you're the same Grand Inquisitor from Star Wars Rebels, the animated show, homeboy, that may be what smartens you up because you were a pretty effective villain in Rebels. Right now, you just dumb as a box of rocks, and you laying like a box of rocks dead.
He did seem very dumb.
Yeah, it's sort of naive, if you will.
Yeah, it didn't make that was odd, but I know this probably sounds really bad or whatever, but but I honestly like I can't wait to see the third sister get her comeuppance.
Oh god, it's gonna be fucking amazing.
Oh my god, I can't wait
We
because
we were
all
sitting
I
here in the living room. We're like, what makes this bitch so fucking special that she
I
can get away with this? Like, is she
I
like Darth Vader's like secret affair? Like, what makes her so fucking just like untouchable?
I don't fucking know, but not only so untouchable, but just so angry.
Yeah, like
But like
who pissed in your Cheerios that morning?
I know, like I've never seen someone who is so mm,
She's a proper
passionate.
villain, I would say.
Yeah,
She fits in with the rest of the, like I always picture the Inquisitors as very methodical. Like the rest of the other Inquisitors, they're very methodical. They wait, they're patient. They're gonna let the Jedi fuck up and then they pounce. Now she's like, I'm gonna fucking pounce and see what happens. So I mean, her actress plays that very well and makes it a
mm-hmm.
very unlikable quality about the character. So
Yeah.
I applaud the actress for that wholeheartedly. It's just like, why are you? What makes you so special? Because how are you going to get out of killing the Grand Inquisitor? I actually don't think he's dead, personally.
Really?
I no, because we see Darth Maul. He gets cut in half in the first movie, right? And then in the fourth season of the Clone Wars, he's like, "I'm back, bitch. Let's go." So, I mean, obviously, you can survive stuff like that if your hate is strong enough.
Oh.
And I think if we were going with the rebels versions of the Inquisitor, the moment she cut off that civilian's hand for no fucking reason, the the buff Asian dude would have killed her because
Really?
because he had the situation in control. At that point, trying to be they weren't trying to hurt anybody. They were just wanting information and letting people know, like, hey, we want information. You'll be rewarded. And then here she comes blundering around like a fucking blunderbuss saying, you know what, or we'll punish you. He's like, no, that's not going to fucking work. These people are going to be terrified now. We're never going to get anything, you dumbass. And as soon
Yeah.
as she like sliced off his hand and then threatened to kill Owen, he'd be like, all right, this bitch ain't worth the trouble. I'm just gonna offer and say some random shit happened. There was an
Yeah.
accident. but that's just me personally.
No, I definitely feel that. I feel that way too, and it's like you said, the actress she played it really well. Cause I, I really fucking hate her. So
Yeah.
she's playing a good villain, but like,
And I think that's what the sequels missed. Like, no hate on Adam Driver. He's a great actor, right? I love most of his films.
mm,
But I don't think the way he was portrayed is right. To be a villain, you have to be hated. There has to be just that one quality. Look at Vader. Vader was terrifying. He would kill his own men just as easily kill the enemy for fucking for simple. Like they left the toilet seat up. All right, well, dead. All right. Next in line. So I mean, he was ruthless, and he always had that terrifying, commanding presence. And we're starting to see that now that the technology is caught up, and we can actually see Vader as he was meant to be.
what do you mean?
So like, take the end of you'll see in the end of Rogue One what I'm talking about. That is how Vader has always felt. Just that terrifying. Nothing's gonna stop him. It doesn't matter how many people are in his way. He's gonna cut through them all, kill them all, and just take what he wants. And God help you if you escape, because he will hunt you down and find you and kill you.
Jesus.
He is the epitome of a ruthless villain. He will hunt you to the ends of the galaxy.
I mean, maybe she's just like the third sister. Maybe she's just super like, like a teacher's pet.
Yeah, maybe trying to emulate Vader.
Yeah. She wants to be his like special apple of her eye or his eye.
That ain't a good move. that is not some job security I would want.
You know, it'd be kind of great is if, oh my god, I hope it happens. Is if like, is we keep seeing like, we keep following her journey of trying to get Obi and turn him into Vader, and eventually she succeeds. Not that I want her to, but I'm just saying, like, eventually she'd succeed, and then like she's just like got this just this aura of like, you know it's like glory,
Sadisticness.
and she's got this air of like smug, I did it and it's my turn and it's my glory and my my comeuppance, but in a positive way for her. Like she's just ready to get rewarded and just held up and praised by the Darth Vader.
Yeah.
And
she's
then
like trying to win his affection.
And then he just like fucking slices her or
just does what Darth Vader does. Oh, you want my attention? Move. All right, you're dead. Next, okay. Please.
I mean, like nothing though. Like not even acknowledging that she just, spent last 10 years and probably lost. Probably like if she does. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
Like if she does, let's say she does end up by like somehow managing to capture Obi and then take him to Vader. Let's say like that's the case. Obi's obviously gonna put up a fight and stuff, so like she'll probably maybe be missing an arm or an eye or something, and so she just went through hell getting him there, and then like Vader would just walk up and just literally just like slam her, bash her head.
Yeah, this is my fight, bitch. Step away. Like, yeah, nah, you ain't nothing.
Actually kills her like nothing. Like that would be so.
It would be very satisfying, and I don't think it's gonna happen because I think the first time Vader meets Obi-Wan is on the Death Star where Obi-Wan dies. I think that's I don't know. They're already changing a couple things. Like I always thought Obi-Wan was one of the few Jedi that remained hidden. No one knew nothing, but now it's kind of like, yeah, Obi-Wan's still out there. We just don't know where he is.
Yeah.
So I mean, it could that would be such a satisfying thing to see, like as her character arc. That's how she dies. That'd be amazing.
Yeah. I think it would be great to do it that way because not only does it give the audience like the satisfaction that they I'm sure many of them would be wanting her demise,
Mhm.
a slow and painful one, or
Just come
you know,
so close to glory and just have it ripped
yeah,
away.
yeah, and by what she wanted most, like she wanted most to like impress him and be the blah blah blah, and
And
then he's just
it
like,
does the
bitch,
opposite.
you did. So
You
like,
done fucked up, Ace.
yeah, I would really like to see that, but it would be good to it would be like a reward for the audience, and also still show like it would totally show Vader's like like evil
Ruthless
and
side.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we should make a bet.
I don't know. I don't think it will happen that way. I don't want to. I don't want to scam you out of your money here,
Oh,
because
come on.
no, I know how I know how it pretty much has to go in order for it to fit with episode four's timeline. So
With
I
the girl with the third sister?
no, with how Obi-Wan and Vader meet. That's like the meeting after, Mustafar. Like that's the first time they've seen each other in 20 some odd years.
We I probably am gonna regret asking this like very like I already regretting it. But like so somehow Obi ends up in the Death Star with Vader
Mhm.
and he kills Obi.
Yeah. So I mean, well, it's not like a happen chance kind of thing. You'll have to watch you really do have to watch the movie for it to be explained why. And
That's
I don't want to ruin that for you.
I don't want that.
Well, it's not really like Obi-Wan dies. It's like, haha, you can't kill me now, bitch. So you'll just have to watch. Obi-Wan has the last laugh for sure.
Is
But
there any chance that maybe he's not really dead?
oh no,
Oh,
I mean he's technically dead, but technically not.
that's weird.
It is.
I
But
don't
I'm
understand.
not gonna spoil it for you, so you're gonna have to watch the movies.
But because like how Obi would have anybody who was there would have thought that Anakin would have died in that lava
Mhm.
situation.
I see where you're going with it, and no,
No.
because the reason I say Obi-Wan has the last laugh is, yeah, Vader tries to make contact with Obi-Wan's neck, right? But Obi-Wan kind of his like soul just pieces out, and he's like, yeah, nice try, can't hit something that's not there, and turns into a Force ghost to
I
help
don't.
guide Luke. You'll
So
get it. You'll get it. Watch the movie.
so
It'll make so much sense.
I don't want him to be any kind of dead.
Well, he's technically living forever after that as a Force ghost.
And there's a way to um kill him in a way that he wouldn't have been able to become that.
Well, I mean, no, because once you like, let's say once you die, right, in the Star Wars universe, and you're Force sensitive, you can learn the path to immortality via being a Force ghost. And that's kind of like how Obi-Wan got the last laugh. Like, ha, Vader, you thought you killed me. No, I'm a Force ghost, homeboy. You can't kill me
Oh,
now. Vader, I
that's
mean, Anakin does the same thing at the end of the Return of the Jedi.
Anakin dies?
Well, yes, Vader dies as well as Anakin, saving Luke.
What?
You gotta watch it, man. I don't want to go into like too many more details because I feel like I'm spoiling it for you.
I mean, I just I don't know what to think.
You gotta watch it. It's such a like you. Everything will make sense. Like everything I've said will make sense.
I'm just sad because I'm so like this is really like the most the most I've seen of any Star Wars now because all I had ever seen was the first I think the first episode of Mandalorian
Mm,
and I think the first episode of the Book of Boba Fett
yeah.
but like now I've seen two of Obi-Wan and I'm like really 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 liking it and even though like I still don't know a lot, like it doesn't feel like that for some reason. Like yeah, I still have a lot of questions, but I feel I guess maybe because you know you like taught me so much about it and about like the Order 66 kind of era.
Mhm.
So like there's a lot of moments of like, oh my god, that's this person, and oh my god, like I know what's happening.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why, but it just feels like I'm like not as confused and not as like lost. So I'm really enjoying it, but now I'm really liking Obi-Wan, and I don't want him to
Well, he
die.
lives another like 10, 20 years. So I mean, he lives to be about like 60 or 70 before he finally just dies, right? So I mean, he
Sorry.
really does have like the last laugh against Vader. He's like, Vader, you thought you could kill me, homeboy, but guess what, bitch?
That's so sad.
It's not sad because when you look at it, he transitions from a physical mentor role to more of a like a spiritual mentor role.
And but still at the hands of stupid,
But
Vader.
here's the thing that'll make it all better. When Vader is dying, Obi-Wan reaches out to Vader in the very like last second of Anakin's life, and he's showing him how to become a Force ghost so they can stay together forever.
What?
Yep.
Why?
Why? Because they loved each other. They were brothers. And Vader and Anakin are two separate people living in one body. It's like split personality disorder if you think about it. Because Vader is the evil side of Anakin. Anakin is the light side. And when they were together, it was both of them were meshing. And then, the dark side came through and Vader split off. Anakin's still in there, and you see it occasionally, but Vader's in control, piloting everything right now. And Anakin finally throws off the shackles of Vader at the end of his life, saves Luke, kills the Emperor, and then becomes a Force ghost.
So what happens when he reaches out to, you said he reaches out to Anakin, right?
Obi-Wan, at the very end of Anakin's life, when he's laying there dying, is like, hey, I got this cool club. Let me show you how to join it. And Yoda's waiting for him. Master Qui-Gon Jinn's waiting for him. And he's like, hey, my people, how we doing?
Oh my god. I just, that's like information overload.
I'm
I
telling
don't
you.
know.
And this is from a book that may or may not be canon, so take it with a grain of salt.
I mean, I definitely I don't even know, because on one hand I like that the thought of like they would be all waiting for him and reach out to the good part of him and all that,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
like on the other hand, it's hard for me to like wrap my head around, like, after everything, Obi-Wan would still want to help him
Because
continue.
you're still thinking of Anakin and Vader as the same person. It makes
Ah,
it so much
yeah.
easier when Vader is his own entity and Anakin is his own entity. What Vader does is not necessarily a reflection on Anakin. Anakin fell to the dark side and Vader was born out of the ashes. So what Vader did is not what Anakin did. Vader is his own person.
It's hard for me to get that. I guess I get it. It's hard for me to accept that in a way that would like still let me have sympathy for Anakin, because
Yeah,
I do I sorry, what?
you can't. I mean, some of the things that Vader does is absolutely irredeemably evil. It's just horrible. And
And it's like,
Anakin's probably screaming on the inside, "No, no, no! This isn't what I wanted."
it's like, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, very well. It's just like, because even the little bit like that I do know, I feel like I can still like empathize with Anakin, like as far as when he was with Padme, like you said, like he was just this boy and he fell in love and stuff like that. And
Mhm.
it's like I definitely have empathy for him in that moment, and the like he, I think, sort of
Yeah.
kind of didn't want to like I think it seemed like he didn't want to be evil or bad, and it just kind of turned
Or
out that
he
way.
just
And
regrets his decisions.
it even kind of seemed like he was fighting it,
Mm.
But so in that way, I definitely have like, I definitely feel sorry for him in that way. But I only feel sorry. It's so hard for me to explain it. It probably sounds stupid,
No, you're
but
fine. I get what you're saying.
yeah, it's like I feel I have empathy for Anakin at that time,
Mm.
and but at a certain point, even though Vader is like a different entity, it's still like it's still one of those things where like I have an example in my head, but I don't know if it's very like maybe I shouldn't use that example. Um, you think I should?
I mean, it just depends on the example, and unfortunately, I think we're running a little bit out of time. Um, because I think I don't know, this video is gonna be long as hell, and if you guys made it to the end of it, I super kudos to you guys watching the 2 hours for 2 hours and 30 minutes. Um, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I know I love having these kind of conversations.
No.
It's amazing. But I think it would be better served if we waited and had like a whole separate like Star Wars conversation podcast. And that
Okay.
way we could delve for another 2 hours into just the stuff that you have questions on.
I agree. I feel like we totally we
I I,
can't
I
talk
think we
about
got a
Star Wars.
little bit off topic, but I think
I
it was
think we
worth
got
it.
a lot of it off topic, and
I
it's
I
just
think
like
it's worth it.
yeah. I don't think we can talk about Star Wars because we always seem to kind of go off on a bunch of tangents.
Well, that's what I hope everybody enjoys because I mean it's something that we both enjoy. I mean whether and it's something that everybody can enjoy. You know, whether you've just now got into it like you have, Miss Noodles, or you've seen it since you were a kid like I have. It's just something that you all can enjoy, and it bonds people over Star Wars. You know.
So final thoughts
Mhm.
on the first two episodes and the series so far to wrap it up. Just like I absolutely like I knew I had a feeling like I knew I was gonna like it. Just and I do. I like very excited about it, and yeah, I think it's great. I think it's
Mhm.
gonna be like
Yeah.
really successful,
Yeah.
and I hope it's as, if not more, successful than Mandalorian, because nothing against that. I really liked the episode I saw of that, but like I don't know. I just want it to be a super success so that it can hopefully go on for a while. And because it's like,
Agreed.
it's really, it's good storytelling and I'm enjoying it. So
It definitely engages you, and it spawns like this. Like who how we wouldn't I wouldn't have ever thought we would have gone on for 2 hours, 2.5 hours talking about just this
I'm
and
so
enjoying
sorry.
every second. Yeah, and the only reason I'm drawing it to a close is one, I got to use the bathroom. Two, I got a doctor's appointment in the morning, and
Oh,
I don't wanna rush you and thinking in your thoughts or anything like that. I'd rather save it to where we can flesh those thoughts out and we can delve deep into it and have a really fun conversation again.
I understand. And thank you for having me.
Girl, you know you're welcome on this channel.
And thank you everyone who's like
Yeah.
watching and supporting the channel. I would love any comments because I want to know what people think. And I like knowing what people think, especially on, you know, a lot of interesting Star Wars stuff that I don't know. So yeah, thank you for for having me, and hopefully we get to keep reviewing the next ones.
I hope so too. I mean, this I've looked forward to filming this ever since they announced this because I knew I knew I was gonna be like delving way too deep into things, and having a second person there who isn't like as well versed in Star Wars is
Mhm.
great to help ground because it shows the two different positions, and it helps me keep like a lid on my nerdness and not like go overboard and explain things. Because I mean, if I was to explain every little detail and everything,
Mhm.
granted, I would forget where I was most of the time, and I bore you guys. I bore you noodles, and it would just get to the point where this
Never.
video is like 5 hours long.
Okay, we promise to try to keep things a little more on track next
Um,
time, as far as
you can
just
see. Here's the thing: you can ask whatever questions you want because I have no problem answering them. I love answering questions about this. It's
um,
just I always get just way too into it. So that's my. I'm not saying it's a bad thing at all. Actually, I think people would enjoy that. It's something that we all enjoy, and we're learning stuff too.
yeah,
Who says education can't be fun?
I agree.
But yeah, a super shout out to Ms. Noodles. I think she said it the best. I'll let her do the outro today, since she's been you've been a very good guest. I've enjoyed the
Oh yeah.
conversation here, and you know,
Well,
like she said, I enjoy seeing you guys' comments.
mm,
I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will look forward to more of our podcast slash episode reviews.
yep, and we would appreciate any support to the channel, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. It actually does really help a lot, and we're trying to reach some goals on that. So
Yeah.
if you want to support, then that's a great way to do it. And yeah, thank you everyone for watching and listening, and hopefully y'all enjoyed it too, and y'all can be back and talk to talk in the chat about your thoughts. So in the chat, in the comments, I mean.
Yeah, trust me. I feel you on that. I call chat comments. Nah. But yeah. Again,
That's about it.
thank you
We
for
gotta go sleep.
yeah, thank you for devoting 2.5 hours to rambling with me and enjoying about Star Wars.
It's very fun.
Yes, I would have to agree. But thank you guys. I'll see you in the next time, like Miss Noodle said. You
Bye.
guys know what to do.
Bye.
Peace out.